Hello and welcome to Bud's RPG Review, where I give my thoughts on role-playing games, card games and board games. Welcome to the second in a series of Redux reviews, where I revisit my earlier videos that were recorded a few years ago on substandard equipment and with less in the way of production values. The aim of these reviews is to enable me to tighten and expand the writing, fleshing it out with further insight where appropriate, and to produce something of superior video and audio quality to the original. Today's review is the Sea Cave for RuneQuest 1st edition by Chaosium. Okay, first a bit of history. The Sea Cave is a 24-page softback adventure that was released as part of the RuneQuest Old School Source Pack in 2016. It was unearthed from Chaosium's archive where it had lain unfinished since being written by Greg Stafford in the late 1970s. Chaosium have left it in its current state to preserve its charm. Okay, to the cover. Here we have a piece by Janelle Jacques that doesn't appear to have been done for the scenario, as it has a copyright date of 1980, and it's not bad to be fair. There'll be spoilers from this point onwards, so stop watching now if you intend to play this. The scenario was recommended for 4 to 8 characters at what is described as a medium level of experience, that being characters with around 50% in their main weapon and at least 3 points of armour. The adventure begins at the fishing settlement of Corfu, where the locals have been suffering some problems in recent times. Fishermen have started vanishing while exploring the local area for new schools of fish, and a week earlier to the start of proceedings, somebody saw a friend get snatched from his boat by something that rose from the water and quickly vanished. The local priest of Magasta thinks that the sea god is angry that they haven't built a temple to him yet. The chief fisherman thinks otherwise, and then hires the adventurers to investigate a local cave that he thinks the sea monster is living in. The actual sea cave itself is an interesting location, as the geography of it changes with the tides, and it is different in a high, medium and low tide. At low tide, the cave is accessible on foot, but at medium and high it needs to be accessed by boat, which presents a whole different set of challenges. Additionally, at the different tides, the various denizens of the cave may not actually be there, which could mean that they only find clues to their existence. They will need to return at the various tides to truly investigate what is happening here. The background is that a sea worm called Green Snarl has come to the cave to retrieve a worm-bane sword and has been controlling a giant sea snake to assist it in this endeavour. The sword is in the cave being protected by a water spirit masquerading as a mermaid that has charmed a pair of werewolf brothers to protect her. The werewolf brothers have proven especially and perhaps unusually effective at fending off the sea worm thus far. The interesting thing about this adventure, other than the unique take on the tidal influence, is that the giant sea snake could very easily be deemed the culprit and defeated. The adventurers having essentially slain the grand decoy, they will no doubt end up having to come back to finish the job at a later date when fishermen continue to disappear. Something I like about this adventure is the old school ruthless approach to players behaving in a reckless manner. It basically tells you to warn them of the presence of something nasty, and if they continue to pursue it, to show no mercy. Additionally, it makes a note on the first page that when the adventurers are slaughtered or run screaming, the monsters get experience rolls too. We also have some notes that outline what Greg Stafford had planned for this project, which was to include a temple to Caca demon in the cave complex. The adventure contains graph paper drawings of the sea cave in various states of completion, as well as copies of the character sheets used for the various resident monsters here. A particular thing of note is that tucked away at the back of the adventure are Greg Stafford's original notes on the cult of Caca demon, describing it as a demonic remnant of the devil that has roamed the world since the Gods' War, destroying what he finds. Caca demon is associated with the runes of chaos, disorder and death, and is a particularly foul thing that revels in spreading disorder and gaining personal power for its members. The cult gains various spells associated with creating undead, and the cult's divine intervention summons the spirit of Caca demon himself to assist. The cult is especially worshipped by ogres. I am a huge fan of archive material. The way the sea cave has been presented, i.e. in an old school manner, may be jarring to some people. There are no bells and whistles here, and the whole thing is printed with large typeset pages, which can be difficult to read when compared to the way that modern day books are so slickly published. The thing with this material is that it's really not about how it looks. The type of people who would buy this generally won't care. It's the rich quality of the content, which is exactly the kind of thing you would expect from someone of the pedigree of Greg Stafford, and that is what draws them in. For RuneQuest completists, this is an absolute must-buy. It's a diamond in the rough of the game's history that has been rediscovered and shared for all. You get an adventure that was written when there were very few adventures written for any system, and you have the notes on the Caca demon cult too, which feels like the cherry on top. I think that this could, and probably should, be reworked for RuneQuest Glorantha, as it is clever in design and could really benefit from modern production values such as great art and the like. And let's face it, there isn't an abundance of scenarios available for RuneQuest as it stands, so something like this is a great resource. One final thing of note is that there is a list of other unpublished RuneQuest material that has been discovered and printed on the back of the cover. the Howling Tower, Expedition to Miscander's Tower, and Elysia's Grove. I, for one, would love Chaosium to make these available to purchase. The Sea Cave remains a very enjoyable jaunt, and one that new players could easily wrap their heads around, and similarly, one that the more experienced player could enjoy as part of Greg Stafford's Gloranthan legacy. I still give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos. Also, if you're interested in buying this product, I'll put some links below. Lastly, if you like what I produce here, then maybe think about supporting me on Patreon. Bud out.